啊，哇，滴到水。啊，今天继续来 Tangle Tower 啊，先把我饼干吃完。Costco 卖那种一大盒那个软饼干，很爽。Ice Fish 安安啊。大概回顾一下上次就是让我回想一下，起因就是呢，我们是侦探，然后到了一个地方说。有一个画家在画到一半的时候，应该算女主人了。然后画女主人的时候，画到一半，然后死掉。结果那个女主人的手上拿着一个像刀的东西，然后那个刀上面涂红色，结果那个红色去检验发现是被害人的血，这样。他是说血啦，我有点忘记是不是被害人。然后就发现说，这个大宅呢，大宅邸呢，是有2个家族同时住的。然后呢，那个被画的那个是左半边家族的，算女主人吧。然后也要问一下右半边的人的问题，这样子。然后还有什么？然后就是过程中会拿到很多东西，然后要去问所有的人，就是像逆转裁判，但是感觉不同的物品去给不同的人，都会有不同的结果。不像逆转裁判，就是可能大部分的物品给不同的人，都会说：“哦，我不知道你在讲什么。”这样。因为他还会特别写说你这个道具有没有问过，然后会打勾。然后这个游戏我记得好像是全语音的，我觉得蛮不错的。好，4分多了，等得有点不耐烦。直接开始，还要完成画作。好，总共有 F 跟 P 2个家族。那一开始我看到是觉得说是有点像什么高音谱记号跟低音记号、降记号吧？不对，降记号其实是一个这样那可能不是 P 吧 ？P 我有点忘记是什么了，所以是我想太多。然后目前有这些人，就是可以直接走过去吗？哦，对，这是他这是人物关系图。OK， 他在这里，然后这边有。目前知道的资讯，好，我们就把所有的道具都问过一遍。目前只有这个他有开出嫌疑，所以我们把道具问一问。没东西。然后这个 Flora 就是应该算女主人吧，反正她就是属于一个无口的，就是她都什么都不讲话这样。
Did you ask Freya to paint this, or was it her idea?
What is that you're holding in the painting, Flora? Some people have been saying it's a knife.
好，不理我哦。 空空的蛋。
Flora, this is your egg? Why do you keep it locked?
Is there supposed to be something in there, or is it always empty?
小乖，吃饭吗？看你吃了。你吃哦。
Is this your gramophone?
Do you know why it's cracked?
迭代的磁带。
What do you think of your husband's hobby?
Do you have any hobbies? You haven't seen this yet, have you?
It's a little model of you. Who are the other people next to you?
哎，紫色胡子的人是谁啊？我没有看到有紫色胡子的人这个我觉得蛮可疑的，这个角色我觉得蛮可疑的。我以为是园丁，就感觉好像不是紫色胡子哥，我就随便问。
Do you know anything about this beetle?
金甲虫。
Do you know anything about these birds? Or birds in general?
他都不理人
Do you recognize any of these feathers?
他不理我。好。 这里去找他吧，这个他先生。对，啊，等一下，我先把所有人问过一遍，看他有没有反应，应该是都不会有反应啊，但是，哦。
Anything we should know? Any hobbies besides staring out the window?
We spoke to your daughter Fifi. She's some kind of super intelligent scientist. You must be proud of her.
哇，他不管怎样都没反
We
应。
spoke to Hawkshaw. I assume she didn't get anything out of you either. I bet that really ticked her off.
我很需要特
Do
别。
you and Fitz have anything to do with each other? Other than your initials?
他好像没有任何有特别
You know
反
the
应的
guy
东
in
西
the。other tower? Weird astronomy professor guy?
Can you see him from your window? Can he see you?
他都不理我
What do you know about Penny?
I can't really imagine those two being friends, to be honest.
You never know.
一个是超聒噪，一个是都不讲话。
Do you and Poppy get along?
Nothing. Shocker. Grimore, what could you possibly be writing down?
Oh no, I gave up making notes ages ago. Now I'm just doodling in the margins.
乱画，好美了。找先生，这比较有话可以讲。
You're the one currently basking in his presence. You tell me.
Let's move on.
My daughter Fiona, our little burgeoning genius.
他叫她 Fiona，
We did. She's going by Fifi these days.
So I've heard. I asked her some weeks ago, what's wrong with your real name? She told me, get this, she wanted a name with an even number of syllables. She
就她
makes
不想要
up
被
the
叫做
strangest
Fiona。
things when she's under pressure.
What makes you think she made that up?
诶，
I happen to know the real reason she prefers Fifi over Fiona.
Oh, yeah?
诶，
It's what Freya called her.
诶， Fiona， 所以我们现在知道她叫做 Fiona。
What is
I
that?
think it's a family tree.
所以他是这个哎 ，Fifi 是这个哎。
Fiona Fellow. We met her. She's one of the suspects.
Pretty.
OK， 再来。OK， 所以他本名叫 Fiona 嘛？还其实我上一次知道，我忘记了。
Quite the character, eh? A fellow member of the Order of the Crimson Cloak.
Is that a real thing?
No, I just meant because we both wear, you know, red capes of a sort.
Has she questioned you yet?
If you call that questioning, she seemed bored by everything I had to say. I heard on the grapevine. Supposedly, Upshaw is searching for some rare item, something called the golden.
哦，他在找金甲重合。
Honestly, it's probably a bunch of
这个我记得好像他是说，死者很喜欢宠物。
There is no treasure called the golden beetle.
How do you know?
Because I would have heard of it. Fitz? I don't trust him. He's slippery. Never commits to anything. Brain like an onion.
An onion?
Did you two have an argument?
Oh, no. But my daughter doesn't like him at all. And I trust Fiona's judgment entirely. She's a very vigilant young woman. Percival Pointer. Good old... So, what do you reckon? Is he the murderer?
I don't know. Maybe. We still need...
That is not information we're willing to share at this time.
I'm just saying, keep an eye on him. Holds on to a lot of bitterness as old.
所以他也在怀疑他是不是？
Just because he's always struggled to
他在怀疑那个对面的爸爸。
Pathetic, really.
And how long have you known him?
Over 35 years.
Childhood friends? Rivals?
Don't know if I'd do him the honor of considering him my rival. Penelope seems to have really settled into a groove. She struggled a bit when she was younger. Always a little estranged.
How come?
Well, she was mostly raised by her uncle. And he really only makes
感受不到
time
爱
for his own daughter. Now, of course, she's bringing the two families together through her marriage. It's a nice gesture, heartfelt, but futile. Poppy's a good friend to my daughter, always has been. I think they get on well because they're so different.
Different like how?
Poppy is, she's quite introspective, good with feelings. Fiona, not so much. Still, Poppy always seems to be sulking about something.
The heavy, heavy price of emotional intelligence.
来，我来一个一个问。
Charming, isn't it? Yes. Built by the Remington family originally. Dear Flora's father and his associates.
But now it's owned by you? By the Fellow family?
The Fellows and the Pointers have both come to claim a certain degree of ownership.
And who named it Tangle Tower?
Flora chose the name.
What does it mean?
I think it was her intention that it mean nothing at all. Something of a
怎么可能没有特殊意义？
From what?
This really isn't for me to say, but she had some kind of disagreement with her siblings. After they moved away, Flora changed the name of the house. I think perhaps she hoped it would make them feel unwelcome, yes, less likely to come back.
That's kind of extreme.
Yes, it is rather, isn't it? What's this?
It's my case file. It's how I know what I'm supposed to be doing.
You mean to say you're bound by the limits of what's written in this little document? Sounds dreadful.
I found it comforting.
就聊个天吧。
That looks like it might belong to Poppy.
真的。
Rather ugly, isn't it, as far as statues go? Years of wind and rain have not been
对，我们还要想办法解开这个。
You know what it is? The creature, I mean.
It's connected to the Remington family history in some way, but I can't recall. I'm as confused as you are.
Does Florin normally keep something in here?
She must do, but I admit I've never managed to work out what.
Why not just ask her?
I feel like if somebody keeps something locked away in a ceramic egg, it's because they don't want to be asked about it.
合理。
Rules to live by.
留声机。
Flora's quite fond of that old thing. It's in poor shape.
Do you know what happened to it?
Can't say I do. That looks like it might belong to Poppy.
都是音乐嘛，都是他比。
It's unlike her to leave paint on the brush.
I think we'll give her a pass, given the circumstances.
Ah, yes. So we shall. Looks like Freya's paints.
Do you know why the pots are cracked down one side?
No, that's very odd. They're normally in excellent condition.
为什
You
么
seem
花
pretty
盆？
sure about
我有
that.
点不太懂为什么放花盆。
That's one of Freya's paintings, is it not? It's impressive, but a little miserable for my tastes. My daughter Fiona and her best friend. They grow up so fast.
Do you know why it's ripped like that?
Ah, yes. I didn't even notice. No idea. Why would someone lock up a book like that?
We think it's a secret diary.
Aha! Teenagers are funny, aren't they? Why don't you ask Fiona about that one? Looks like her area of expertise.
OK。
That looks like it might belong to
哦，
Fitz.
所以你如果问错人的话，他还会特别跟你讲说大概是谁的。
I've never seen that before. Looks valuable. What's this all about? Some kind of rare jewel?
I'm pretty sure the research is about a real insect.
If it's made of gold, then it's made of gold. Bizarre things, aren't they? Penelope seems rather attached to them.
Do you not feel sorry for them in that little cage?
Come now, I'm sure they could leave if they really wanted to. That looks like it might belong to Fitz. Goodness me! Now this is still in very good condition, apart from the crack, of course.
What about those shards on the inside of the horn?
Looks like somebody broke a glass and was trying to conceal the evidence. Cunning.
乐谱。
I've never been one for music. Why not ask Poppy
又
instead?
是 Poppy。
Is that a clue? Really?
It might be. And the statue was up in the rooftop garden.
Yes, it's been there a while. You can see the brass is slightly tarnished by the elements, but it's not too bad. Might be salvageable.
好，我们去那个画家的房间，这里找看看有没有金龟子。
It's a little glass
I
box.
think it's a vivarium.
Come again?
See the leaves and twigs in there? Might have been for keeping insects.
金龟，
Do you think this was always?
I don't know.
No windows either. Freya's plants. They must not be. That's weird.
What did you find in the drawer?
Nothing. They're completely
没有东西吗？怎么可能？
just little trinkets.
Let's leave them alone.
Just little trinkets.
Let's leave them alone.
Drawings.
What's that?
One of them's holding a red rose.
That painting.
Why?
Maybe Freya.
The atmosphere.
Hang on. There's a smaller
It's
version.
a photograph.
这里拿到了，还有什么啊？
Do you think
I
there's
don't
no
know.
windows either? Do you think there's
I
no
don't know.
windows either?
好像没有嘞，所以不是在他房间哦。好吧，继续问。 问完，然后再去这里。还有这里。
Name, Flora Fellow. Age, 44. Profession, unknown. Likes, unknown. Dislikes, unknown.
Isn't she your mother? How do you not know anything?
I believe other people may have discovered methods of reaching her, but I have little capacity for interpreting nonverbal communication.
And how long has Flora been non-verbal?
She has always been quiet, willing to speak when necessary, but not more.
So what happened to make her stop talking entirely?
She suffered a great loss, something she has been unable to move beyond.
Nope.
Name, Felix Fellow. Age, 53. Profession, none. Likes, collecting objects of negligible monetary value and assigning them personal value. Dislikes, the inescapable realities of human existence. Notes, Felix is my father and legal guardian.
And, is he a good dad?
I have no point of comparison, but I would say no.
No? Why not?
You asked me a binary question. Do not get upset that I provided one of the two possible answers.
What makes him a bad father, Fifi?
He has trouble expressing his emotions, and something of a willful detachment from reality.
Huh. Just like you, then.
Grimoire.
No, he is quite correct. Name, Fiona Fellow. Age, 19. Profession, amateur microbiologist. Likes, the meaningful archiving of information. Dislikes, the superfluous window dressing accompanying the majority of human contact. Notes, kindly disregard the polysyllabic form of my given forename and refer to me instead as Fifi.
How come you prefer Fifi?
Fifi.
How come you prefer Grimoire?
How are you related to the other fellows?
Fitz is my cousin. His father, a man named Flint, was my uncle.
Was?
I do not know if Flint is alive or not. He left Tangle Tower a long time ago.
Oh, 所以他们还有一个
What about
人
Freya?
跑了。
How are you related to her?
We share exactly one grandparent. Name, Hotshot. Age, unknown. Profession, private detective. Likes, quote, being left alone. Dislikes, quote, being constantly badgered by a weirdo nerd with a clipboard.
哈哈。问他讨厌什么时候，他就说他啦，讨厌他。
Name, Freya Fellow. Age, 19. Profession, artist. Deceased. Understand this. Most people find me difficult. They exhibit a noticeable degree of discomfort when talking to me. There it is. Freya, who had a way of being an exception to any given rule, was not at all like this. She is very important, and I will not rest until I understand what has happened to her.
Did you spend a lot of time with Freya recently?
I will say this. In the past year, Freya became, 1, increasingly independent, and 2,
所以
increasingly
Freya 在这一年来有
I do
变
not.
哦，不
If
知
you
道
are
发生什
looking
么
for a
事哦，
speculative, empathetic opinion, try asking Poppy
所
instead.
以去问
The
Poppy
three of you were friends.
We are of a similar age, and all highly gifted. 1 scientist, 1 artist, and 1 musician.
Sounds like quite a team.
Fit
Name, Fitzfellow. Age, 24. Profession, cryptobotanist. Likes soil, dislikes electric lights.
Hang on. Cryptobotanist? I thought he was just a gardener.
That may well be his preferred label. Mine, however, is more accurate.
Do you and Fitz not see eye to eye, Fifi?
We do not.
Well, I wouldn't have thought so. He's well over 6 foot and you've got to be just barely 5.
So what's your problem?
Exactly 1 week ago, I witnessed him sneaking up Pointer Tower. He was making every effort to avoid detection.
So?
He was also carrying a knife.
What？三小。哎呦，
Name, Percival Pointer. Age, 57. Profession, none.
I'm pretty sure he's an astronomer.
Oh yes, of course. How uncharacteristically forgetful of me.
他也是很不爽 Pointer。
Name: Penelope Pointer. Age: 27. Profession: ornithologist. Likes: birds. Dislikes: insects. Notes: Penelope is very beautiful. I have never had very much in common with her. Name: Poppy Pointer. Age: 19. Profession: oh. Apparently Poppy has defaced my notes. Under profession, I had of course originally written penis, but she has crossed that out and written the ghost of Christmas yet to come.
开始问东西。
What is your opinion of Tangle Tower?
Oh, it's impressive. Elaborate gardens, unique architecture.
Must be worth a fortune.
Why do you ask, Fifi?
I am the heir of the Fellow family and the Remington family. This makes me the sole beneficiary
哦，
of
他是
Tangle
两
Tower.
家族的
That's
共同
quite an
受益人。
inheritance.
They can't make you do anything, Fifi. If you don't want the house, just tell them. Or just sell it. Who cares?
You sound like her. I require facts. What do you know?
Well, we know Freya was stabbed with a knife, and then she fell.
Correction. She was stabbed with something. There was no knife found at the crime scene.
Apart from the one in the painting.
Which, as a mere abstract representation, does not count. Nobody has ever been stabbed by the concept of a knife.
知道
This belongs to Poppy. In fact, she owns a number of cassette tapes.
What happened to it, though?
It has been left underwater for an extended period of time.
Right, but why?
I do not know why.
哎，画
Freya is normally highly skilled at capturing someone's likeness, but in this painting, she has accidentally made Flora look quite young.
I think she was just being kind.
Why is that kind? Anyway, I'm far more interested in what Flora is holding. I performed the test on the red paint myself. I discovered that it was in fact not paint, but blood.
What made you want to test it in the first place?
It was Poppy. She told me she thought the painting looked like a bloody knife. I told her not to be ridiculous. My mother owns no such knife. But then I noticed that the color was slightly too dark, and the substance itself was overly viscous.
You noticed that just from looking at it once?
Of course.
猛哦！
That belongs to my mother. I think she must be fond of eggs. There are a number of egg-shaped carvings to be found in the garden and in the Grand Hall.
Yeah, what's the deal with all the eggs?
Some people just like eggs.
就是喜欢蛋。
The gramophone belongs to Poppy, but I
又是
believe
Poppy。
she gave it to my mother, and my mother often loaned it to Freya. Or maybe it is the other way around.
When did it get cracked?
I cannot pinpoint it exactly. All I know is that it must have
哎呦
happened sometime
最近
in
2
the
天的
last
事情哦
2 days.
有可能是萌生杀意的原因哦。
Is she laughing?
怎么了吗？
The red paint on the brush is not paint. It is blood. Same for the palette.
So
Oh.
Freya added the blood to the painting herself?
Or blood got on the brush and palette some other way?
Do not know the answer.
Fifi, did you test the red paint in this pot?
Yes, I did. I discovered it too was blood, not paint.
哦，
A whole pot full
所以
of
从一
blood?
开始
Not a whole pot.
那个
It
就
is
是
only
血。
partially full.
Yeah, but still. Doesn't that freak you out?
No. In fact, it may be considered rather reassuring.
所以上了红色的血，并不是只有这个而已，之前的就已经是用血了。
A wooden carving of my father, made by my father. Although, now that I look at it, I do not understand how he was able to paint the red parts without any red paint. This belongs to Professor Pointer, does it not?
No, I don't think so.
Who else would own such a pointless little telescope?
It's a telescope.
Oh, yes. It has a telescopic lens. It could only be used for looking at things that are far away.
哎呦，每个人都看到它都觉得是 pointer 哦，但是其实感觉不是哦。
The fruit here has a unique chemical makeup. It makes them completely pointless, unless you wish to cut it down and sell it as a precious stone.
It's not edible.
Depends.
On what?
On the structural integrity of your teeth. That blade.
It's a troll for gardening.
It is.
哎呦，他看到这个觉得是刀哎。
Now this is interesting. Where did you find it?
In the astronomy tower.
And yet, it does not concern the field of astronomy.
Nope.
In fact, you could even say that entomology is the exact opposite of astronomy.
Yeah, you could.
对啊，
I
确
would
实，
not say that, however.
一个是很大，一个很小
You。wouldn't?
No, it would be quite naive. To study science in any field is to study the connections between all matter in the universe, living or inanimate. I am scared of birds.
Why?
It is an irrational fear. I have no suitable explanation.
Oh,
It is a flower. It reminds me of something, but I cannot
Ayo.
say what.
所以这个花也蛮重要的。
Who is this her to whom the message refers?
well, I don't know exactly.
Then how can I meaningfully evaluate this object? Next! Why did Poppy leave shards of glass all over this statue?
What makes you think it was Poppy?
The statue lives in the music room. Who else would it be?
合理。
An item from Poppy's childhood. Her earliest piano lessons hold some special significance for her.
Why's that?
No idea. She has never graced me with the details, and I am not forthcoming enough to ask.
You two are friends, right?
We are, yes.
But
It is clear to me now that Poppy has become tired
Ayo.
of my company.
is it anything to do with Freya?
Oh, no. The changes in Poppy's mood have nothing to do with Freya. Her concerns simply lie elsewhere.
痱子吧。
What a mess. Penelope should tidy up after herself.
These weren't dropped by Penny. They were dropped by birds, I think.
My argument stands.
What's
怎么了吗
wrong?？
Earmuffs do not go on statues.
为什么？他好像很生气哦。好，
There's something about Felix's painting supplies. Something suspicious.
Let's ask him about it.
There's something about the report of Fitz going up Pointer Tower. Something.
Let's ask him about it.
OK。先问。
Quite the stoic statue, isn't she? I can only dream of being as cold and indifferent as Flora Fellow.
You think she's hiding something?
Perhaps. She has some strange habits. I heard she barely sleeps, an hour here or there, sporadically. Spends the rest of her time staring up at the sky.
都不睡觉哦。就像我，
Did you
所以
get
永远都
anything
很累。
useful out of him?
Not sure. What about you?
Nothing worth committing to paper.
I think he knows more than he lets on.
Probably. Talking with him is so tedious.
Phoebe.
Considerably intelligent, and her powers of observation are enviable. But she has no ambition, no focus.
In her defense, she's still a teenager.
Barely.
你呢？
314 cases solved. 314.
好像很屌哦。
Freya Fellow is of great interest to me. I perceived her to be the most intelligent individual here at
Who's
Tangle
more?
Tower. Within a day, she had identified for whom I was working and for what I was searching. I didn't know how she did it. I was impressed. I regret that I did not question her more thoroughly when I had the opportunity.
哎呦
You couldn't have known she was about to be killed, though.
I have only myself to blame for failing to perceive the signs.
What signs?
I do not wish to do your job for you,
所以
detective.
他有发现什么？
I'll say this. He's well suited to physical labor.
That's a nice way to put it.
Fitz spends most of his time alone in the greenhouse, but I heard he's been breeding experimental flowers in secret.
Whoa, scandal.
I just wonder if he's getting restless.
哎呦，所以他有在研究什么？
Professor Pointer is a respectable astronomer. Keeps himself to himself. What?
We're just surprised.
That was the most polite you've been about anyone.
哼 ，Penny
I find her rather embarrassing. Little more than a spoiled child.
合理。
Penny must
我也
be
觉
at
得。
least 25.
27. Just makes it worse.
Poppy，
Poppy has remarkable musical talent. She could be famous, wealthy even, if she wanted to.
She'd probably have to leave Tangle Tower first.
Quite.
好，物品。
Tangle Tower. No idea why they insist on calling it that. It's not even a tower. It's little more than a pair of turrets stuck on either side of a mansion.
Have you searched the whole place?
I believe so. Why?
He wants to know if you found any secret rooms.
Huh. I'm afraid the residents of Tangle Tower are far too
太普通了。
ordinary for anything like that. I was disappointed too.
好，
You truly consider this a case file?
What's wrong with it?
No organization, no system.
That's my style. I like seeing everything laid out at once. Yeah, it helps me think.
How quaint.
塑形雕像。
Have you deciphered the meaning of those 4 symbols on the harp?
We're working on it.
That's a no then. Makes quite an impression, doesn't it? Although I can't imagine why she painted Flora wielding a knife.
You didn't see a knife anywhere in Flora's room, did you?
I did not. I conclude whatever stabbed Freya must have been brought into the room from outside. Unless, of course, it was the painting itself.
Surely you don't believe in that kind of thing.
A detective's job is to examine every avenue of thinking.
蛋。
You got it open. I'm impressed. I managed it myself yesterday. I thought Flora might be hiding something in there.
It was empty yesterday, too.
It was. Perhaps it's always been empty. A somewhat cumbersome device, and an altogether inefficient way to listen to music.
What kind of music do you like, Hawkshaw?
I like anything.
What a cop-out.
I believe that was in Flora's room yesterday, but it was not cracked when I saw it
哎
last.
呦，所以说他最后一次看到他的时候还没有裂开哦。
The paint is still wet.
Yeah, well, we know Freya was in the middle of painting when she was killed.
Do you know that? How? Because you were told? Paints?
Yep.
Paints.
Mm-hmm.
I'd tell him not to quit his day job, but he hasn't got one, has he? I admit, it's powerful. Freya was a talented young woman.
Someone even liked it enough to take a photo of it.
Now, we don't know why they took the photograph, do we? Perhaps they just wanted it for reference. A photograph of Freya could be important. A diary. Have you read it?
Not yet. It's locked.
这个问完，我们
And
就可以
you
去
haven't attempted to force it
质
open?
问了。
That would be cheating.
The people here are surprisingly materialistic, considering how sheltered they are.
Materialistic?
唯
Growing
物
this
主义
fruit， simply because it produces a gemstone-like material. For what possible purpose, other than financial gain?
You're speculating.
What would you do, Grimoire, if you could grow valuable stone straight from the earth?
你卖宝石啊？
This is a potential murder weapon, is it not?
I don't know. I don't think the murderer would leave the murder weapon just lying around.
I think you'd be surprised as to what people leave lying around. Where did you find this?
Do you have any
对
theories?
他好像也对这个
about where
虫子
this
很
might
有
have been?
兴趣。
Or who might have had it.
I have several theories, but they are my theories, and I'm not going to share them.
哎，机车，
3 birds, 1 cage. What makes them worth keeping cooped up, I wonder? Would they not be happier flying free?
But then they might fly away from Tangle Tower entirely.
I wonder if they would. Don't you consider that important evidence, do you? These people really are ridiculous, aren't they? Some breed of amphibious humanoid, potentially bipedal, although none of the statues show the creature's feet.
I guess we'll never know.
Is that a clue?
Dunno. It was important enough to be framed, though.
I framed my law degree. It doesn't make it a clue.
Same? Yeah?
快被比下去了，主角。
Do you also have a pile of leaves as a clue?
Oh, not yet. Did you see some suspicious leaves?
One of 3 statues
所以
depicting.
我现在只有2个雕像。
This one is wearing headphones. Perhaps they belong to someone who likes music.
They're not headphones. They're earmuffs. For blocking out sound.
Perhaps they belong to someone who doesn't like music.
哦。Papi 耶 ，Papi 问一下好了。
Needless noise from tongues expel, unless within the mouth they dwell. The spoken word, unfit to dealing with the shifting form of feeling, stand unblinking in the face of taciturn and soundless space. Foregone drifter, holding fast.
太中二了吧。
Shadow seeker past. Is it bravery or surrender, accepting that your world will render nothing darker than the gloom some 4 walls make round a room? Between the lips a silver spoon,
含着金汤匙来到书写下的故事。
the chosen dwelling of her heart, unjustly chosen to depart, lost her
所以
liberation
他说
ways,
Fifi 想要搬出去住
center
啊，
of a maze.
他不想住这里啊。
With surging tide, the waves are thrown, an entity of all its own. On its surface you may see, reflected in the waters be, the orchestrator, pale and still, pulling strings, enacting will. Hard of head, but free of mind, unimprisoned, unconfined. With starry eyes, she sees beyond, behind our walls, beneath our pond. A soul untied, it's hers, it's free. Was then, is now, will ever be.
Fit
Softly does the flower
Fit
grow,
跟你好像有暧昧哦。
time and time is slow. Rest a seed within the earth, but do not rush its gentle birth. Hour by hour, day by day, tune your heart
就
to
不急啦，
nature's
我们
way.
不急着要交往了，可以慢慢来。Pointer
Eavesdrop what the stars are saying, earthly tether, slowly fraying, floating helpless from the worst of jealous hunger, selfish thirst. Take a moment, kneel and meet the flowers growing at your feet. Feathers flashing in the light from a sunbeam gleaming bright. I shield my eyes and turn my head, but all at once I've been misled. Light is shining on the stage, but through the railings of a cage.
你的
That's me. I'm on a list of murder suspects. Always
听
thought
B
that'd
卷
be
觉得好像会有
cool,
不一样的
but
东西
it's
哦。
just tedious.
Falls a little short, doesn't it?
So there are 2 families living in Tangle Tower?
Mm-hmm. 3 pointers and 5 fellows. 4 fellows.
What's the connection between them?
There isn't one. Not really. It was all built by the Remington family. Flora is a Remington, originally. So was Primrose, my mother. She married into the Pointers, and Flora married into the Fellows.
So the Fellows and the Pointers own the house now?
Flora owns the house. Depending on who you ask, that means her husband Felix owns it too.
What about your father?
His claim over the house kind of fell apart after my mother left.
Where's your mother now?
No idea.
Hmm?
There's something I noticed about Freya's knife wound.
Hit me.
From what we could tell, the blade went in at an exact right angle, perpendicular to Freya's body. And there's only one small pool of blood. Nothing on Freya's hands, or anywhere else. The whole thing is just a little too peaceful.
哦，好，拍谁？哦，刚刚我刚刚 pass out 了一下。
This is mine.
Really?
No, well, yes, it was. I gave it to Freya about a year ago.
What was on it?
Nothing. It was blank. Freya said she wanted to record something.
Any idea how it ended up underwater?
Maybe someone wanted to destroy it, but got really lazy. Don't you think that's weird? That the letter isn't addressed to anyone, or signed by anyone?
Someone's being deliberately secretive.
Or they're trying to manipulate you. When I first saw it, I thought it looked like Flora was holding a knife, with blood on the tip.
You don't think that anymore?
No. It was a stupid thing to say. The room was dark. I was in shock. I'm just an idiot.
But it was blood on the tip. If you hadn't said anything, maybe Fifi wouldn't have checked.
Exactly. That's stupid.
But we would have missed out on an important clue.
Is it a clue? Really? Tell me how it's a clue. Tell me how it helps. Nothing about the knife makes any sense. It's just freaking everyone out. Wish I'd never said anything. Freya would always load up the palette with all the exact colors she was gonna need. I think it helped her zone out and focus on the actual painting itself. Like getting all your sheet music lined up before playing a long piece.
Right. So the blob of black paint in the middle, that was for painting Flora?
Flora's dress, yeah. She wears even more black than I do. What was inside?
Nothing.
Huh. Why is the glass cracked down one side?
Natural wear and tear, maybe?
No way. Freya took good care of her stuff. Whose paints are those?
They belong to Felix, I think.
Is that supposed to be Flora?
Possibly.
Oh. How nice. I think everybody sees something different.
Did Freya ever tell you what she saw in it?
Not exactly. She said something about it being from a recurring nightmare.
Hey-oh?
Sorry, but if it was from a nightmare, why would you paint it and leave it in front of your bed?
Maybe she wanted to take control of it. Giving something a physical form can make it easier to deal with. Well, sometimes. Hey, that's me. Not a bad likeness.
It looks like you're standing in a rose bush.
Is there something wrong with that?
This is a photo of Fifi and Freya, right?
Yeah.
How come you're not in it? You're friends with them too, aren't you?
I'm not really one for photographs.
Fifi looks like she really admires Freya.
Fifi's loyalty to Freya is unshakable.
Unshakable.
That belongs to Flora, I think. Is that Fifi's diary? I'm sure I've seen it in her room before.
That's where we found it.
Have you ever read it? Do you know what's written in there?
Nope. I'm sure she wouldn't appreciate me invading her privacy.
I thought you and Fifi were close friends.
Yeah, we are. It's just Fifi's gotten kinda impatient with me recently.
两边都说对面的问题。
I'm not sure.
I'm sure she'd tell you if you asked.
Oh, she would. She'd give it to me straight. Probably why I've been avoiding it. How sweet. Did you find that in Fifi's room?
No. Should we have?
No, it's just... It looks like something she'd use, don't you think?
真的吗？
Oh, you've been to the greenhouse? What did you think?
Impressive, I guess. But kind of unsettling with Fitz lurking in the shadows the whole time.
Yeah, he does that. I think it's kind of cruel to keep 3 birds in one cage like that.
Does Penny not let them out to fly?
Oh, she does. She must do. But I don't think they're allowed to go far. Penny can be a little protective. Yeah, it's mine.
What's so special about it?
I got it from my teacher. It's the first piece I ever learned.
How long have you been playing?
Since the day I turned 6. Family tradition. I was really excited to start learning. As soon as I got out of my first lesson, I told Freya and Fifi all about it. When I arrived at my second lesson the next day, Freya was there too. She hadn't asked permission, just showed up. For 2 whole years, the teacher taught us both.
Was Freya any good?
She would have been even better than me if she'd stuck with it. But one day, she just stopped coming to lessons.
Why?
That's just it. There was no reason. That's when I realized Things were different for her.
Can you play the tune for us?
Sure. It's literally 8 notes.
听听看长什么。
Memorized.
就这样。
I see a lot of birds up in the rooftop garden. They seem to really like it up there.
Why's that?
It's quiet.
Do you know where those earmuffs came from?
I put them there.
你
Why?
放的哦，
Found them lying around. I think they belong to Fitz.
又是
I
Fitz
put them on the statue so he'd see them. I thought they looked like headphones. Like he's in the recording studio with his guitar. No?
If they do belong to Fitz, he hasn't taken them back yet. When did you find them?
This morning.
Where?
I don't know, in a hallway. Can't remember
哎
exactly.
呦，Fitz 现在嫌疑很大哦。
There's something about that diary we found in Fifi's room. Something.
Let's ask her about it.
我试一试。我刚刚好像有点睡觉。
Is that Fifi's diary? I'm sure I've seen it in her room before.
That's where we found it.
Have you ever read it? Do you know what's written in there?
Nope. I'm sure she wouldn't appreciate me invading her privacy.
I thought you and Fifi were close friends.
Yeah, we are. It's just Fifi's gotten kinda impatient with me recently.
Do you know why?
I'm not sure.
I'm sure she'd tell you if you asked.
Oh, she would. She'd give it to me straight. Probably why I've been avoiding it.
Oh. 好，接下来大家都有问题。我先弄这个好了，先找这个。
It's a barometer.
I've never seen a barometer that was.
来，嫌疑。
So, about this paint we found in your room.
Nothing suspicious about it. I used it to paint, obviously. Totally normal thing to do.
We never said it was suspicious.
Come on then, out with it. What exactly are you accusing me of?
It's not your paint pot. Did you take it from somewhere else?
What on earth? It's definitely mine. I even have proof. Look, the lid matches the ones on all my other paint pots. End of discussion.
That's not the end of the discussion.
We need a clue to compare with Felix's red paint. Something to prove who it actually belongs to.
Good.
Let's take a closer look at this.
来喽。
Freya's red paint pot was stolen and replaced with Felix's red paint pot.
他把这两个
The
交换。
lids were swapped to hide it.
That red paint is from Freya Supplies, not yours. Swapping the lids doesn't hide what you did.
Why are you bothering me about paint anyway? And none of this is connected to your murder.
还要换他嘞。
This red paint pot was somehow filled with blood before Freya used it to paint Flora.
Oh, that's definitely something. Right, fine. Here's the story. I was busy working on a project when I suddenly realized I had run out of red paint. There was a certain amount of time pressure, so I politely asked Freya if I could borrow hers. Just for a little while, you know. Perfectly reasonable request.
But she said no.
I tried to explain why I needed it, but she didn't seem to care. So, well, I took Freya's red paint pot and swapped it with my own empty one.
You went into her room?
Not my proudest moment, but it's just paint. I didn't touch anything else.
And the paint pot you left behind was definitely empty?
Quite. I have absolutely no idea how it got blood in it, if that's what you're asking.
Why were you in such a hurry to get a hold of red paint anyway?
I was trying to finish this in time for Flora's birthday. I needed red to paint the final details.
Could you not have just used a different color?
Out of the question. It had to be red and white.
If you managed to finish it, why haven't you given it to Flora yet?
Well, I decided against it in the end. After what happened, seemed a bit insensitive.
哦，也就是说，他换上了他的空瓶子给他，结果呢 ，Freya 又装了血进去，所以他的 Freya 一直在用血在画画。来。
Is this your diary, Fifi? We found it in your bedroom.
Of course it is mine. Ridiculous question.
Why is it locked up like that?
You seriously require an explanation. Very well. A fairly common concept, the so-called secret diary, is favored in particular by girls between the ages of 10.
So, there are secrets written in here?
This particular diary is unused.
It doesn't look unused.
所以这是别人的日记哦。
It's Fifi's diary, and she has written in it.
I'm not sure about that.
Me neither.
This particular diary is unused.
It doesn't look unused.
真的假的？
It's somebody else's diary.
How could you arrive at that conclusion? It is kept in my bedroom. It is mine.
该不会是 Freya 的日
Compare
记
the
吧？
diary. Something to prove who the original owner was.
我可以证明吗？但这个我没有印象哎。 星星，金属，奇怪的金属水。奇怪的金属锁装置。 我怎么证明？
Let's take a closer look at this.
哦哦，赛道了。 这本蓝色的书有点类似于。
This blue book is somewhat similar to the secret diary, which proves it belonged to Freya. Almost. Maybe just change one.
书签。
This blue book is somewhat similar to the secret diary, but was lost by Fifi. Nope.
哎呦！
This blue book was hidden inside the secret diary, which proves it belongs to Fifi. That's not right.
这个跟这个是同一个。
This blue book is the same thing as the secret diary, which proves it belonged to Freya.
You were hiding Freya's diary in your room, and you kept it locked, too.
Why would I do either of these things?
，Fifi didn't want anyone to see personal secrets within Freya's diary.
Is this true, Fifi?
I know Freya was your friend, but if you're trying to hide something...
You did not know Freya, so this might be difficult to understand. She did her own thing, in her own way. By concealing Freya's written accounts, it is simply my intention to preserve her innocence.
Innocence?
Might be easier if you just let us read the diary, Fifi.
Very well. I will open it. However, as you read it, please remember, Freya was the most kind and the most wise person I have ever known.
All right, Fifi unlocked the diary.
Finally. What's in there?
他回来，这亲自还是我吗？他把画撕掉。他有2个什么灵了？ 找到进去中间的路了，竖琴相比意外简单。他们所有的5个人已经被捅黑了。跨模，为什么可以进去中间？应该是这里吧。然后跟竖琴相比，好。
So, Fitz, I have a report that you were seen sneaking up Pointer Tower, holding a knife.
That's not right. I don't go into Pointer Tower. I don't own a knife. And I don't sneak. Was it Fifi who told you this?
How did you know that?
A guess. She doesn't like me very much. But yeah, she was mistaken. Maybe she wasn't wearing her eye lens thing.
What do you think, Grimoire?
Fifi did see Fitz, but he was holding something else.
So, if it wasn't a knife, what was it?
但是这个吧，对吧？
What about this?
Ah, that.
Is it yours?
It was a gift. It's sentimental. I have no reason to take it up Pointer Tower. I don't use it at all.
An ornate trowel was used to bury a single feather in Penny's room. Nope. An ornate trowel was used to bury a potted flower in Penny's room. Almost. Maybe just...
Ayo.
An ornate trowel is used by Fitz to look after a potted flower in Penny's room.
That flower.
Yes?
I've never seen it before.
We need a clue to compare to that flower. Something that proves its connection to Fitz.
Hmm. 这个吧。
That's not right.
对。蓝色。
Let's take a closer look at these.
Penny 房间里的那个可以匹配这个花样。
The pot and soil in Penny's room matches the pot and soil found in the garden, almost. Maybe just change one thing. The pot and soil in Penny's room matches the pot and soil found in Fitz's greenhouse. Let me guess. Penny's flower was originally a gift from you, Fitz. There's no way it's a coincidence.
No way what's a coincidence?
The flower. It looks exactly like Penny.
It took me a long time to breed. I wanted the colors to be
它去
exactly
长得
right.
做一个跟 Penny 一样的花。
Turns out Penny isn't particularly interested in looking after plants. So I go into her room every now and again. And when she's not there, water the flower, change the soil. Just trying to keep it alive.
哦，它的确有趣。哦。哦，等一下，等一下，我们先继续去跟他问完，还没跟他问完。
I like Flora. I hope she's all right.
Do you think she had anything to do with the murder?
There's no way. She wouldn't willingly cause any additional suffering for anyone. Felix is a contradiction. His loyalties are placed firmly within the realm of materialism, money, property. But his ego relies on an entirely fraudulent self-image, don't you think?
是有一点。
I was just about to say the same thing.
就他说自己是一个什么冒险者还是什么
Fifi doesn't like me.
What did you do?
I'm not sure. If you find out, maybe you can let me know. She questioned me.
About what?
My work, the plants, bit of everything.
Did she search the greenhouse?
No, she didn't.
You sure? Maybe she did it when you weren't in there.
No, she hasn't touched it.
How can you tell?
Trust me, I can tell. She was always kind to me. She'd come into the greenhouse when I was working, sometimes by herself, sometimes with Poppy. I think they were just bored at first. Eventually, they started asking questions.
About what?
Poppy wanted to learn about flowers. Freya, she used to ask me about the insects.
Insects?
One of my jobs is to protect plants from things that might eat them. Freya brought me this little glass box, leaves and twigs inside. She'd say, put all the troublemakers in there. Every day I'd put a handful of beetles and other things in the box. Then she'd come along and take it away. I didn't really understand her, but she was always kind.
Have you met this guy, Fitz? Shifty eyes, doesn't say a lot. Totally suspicious, if you ask me.
That's me.
Yeah, it was a joke. I was joking.
Oh, I see.
笑死。
I imagine you don't visit the astronomy tower too often, do you?
No, but I still see Pointer, sometimes. He's always curious about what I'm growing in the greenhouse. Asks me about the birds, too, and insects.
Oh?
He's pretty clued up on his
所以
evolutionary biology.
Pointer 真的
I
很
didn't
很
think
想要
there
那
was
只
much
金色的
overlap
那个
between
虫。
astronomy and biology.
Penelope is my fiancée.
Don't take this the wrong way, but Penny doesn't really strike me as your type.
She's not who she pretends to be. People think she's... well, they make assumptions.
And how's the relationship doing recently?
Good.
尴尬了，应该不太好。
Poppy and I are friends.
Oh, I can buy that. Dark clothes, blue hair, an average of 3 words per sentence. Oh, you're like 2 peas in a pod.
She's very kind, and she has an interest in plants. Unusual flowers, mostly. I've been teaching her.
Right.
Is something wrong?
哦，是哦。
Nice painting. Gives you a pretty good idea of the layout.
The lake looks like it forms a perfect circle around the island.
It might seem strange to you, but nature is quite capable of producing perfectly geometric forms.
And those mountain cliff things around the outside?
We don't know much about them. They're unscalable.
都
Not
绝
even
壁。
Freya could have gone up there.
What's that?
This painting, it's speculative. There are no photographs from this angle as far as I know.
So Freya
哦，
just
这是
made it
Freya
up.
想象出来
Let's
的
call
画，
it an informed
她
estimation.
并不是真的看着画。
Who gave you that information?
Well...
We don't actually know who it was. We were contacted anonymously.
I see. And what happens if the person who contacted you turns out to be the murderer?
I
哎呦
never thought，
蛮
about
合
that.
理的哦。
Honestly, that would be kind of fun. Like a twist, you know?
That looks like it might belong to Poppy. It's of no interest to me, but I overheard Poppy and Freya talking about
Oh.
it once.
所以
What
Poppy
were
也知道
they
这个。
They were arguing about something, but I can't remember the details. How odd.
What do you think that is in Flora's hand?
I don't know. It does look like a knife, but Flora wasn't holding anything at all when I saw her after the murder. But there's something bothering me. Something else.
What?
When we went into Flora's room, she wasn't standing in this position.
真的假的？
Well, she probably would have moved around a little bit by then.
She wasn't standing at all. She was kneeling on the floor.
哎呦，
It's an egg with feet.
It was locked, but we opened it. But it was empty.
Fun story.
留声
That
机
belongs to Poppy.
又是
So why
Poppy
is it up in Flora's tower?
I'm not sure.
磁带
That looks like it might belong to Poppy.
都是 Poppy 的。
There's something off about this.
What is it?
Why don't you take another look at Flora's room?
You think we missed a clue up there?
Not exactly.
哎呦，
Paints are different to flowers.
I'd say so, yeah.
At any time, flowers can bloom with perfect, faultless colors. Red, blue, white. With paint, once you've tainted a color by mixing it with others, not even the most skilled painter can return it to its pure form.
哎呦，很哲学。
Felix made that? Huh. Freya's best work, in my opinion. Although, the photo doesn't carry the same energy as the real thing.
What do you think it's a painting of?
What do you mean?
Like, what's the subject matter? What's that big red thing?
Oh, I don't think it's that kind of painting. It's Fifi and Freya.
Don't you think Poppy should be in the photo too?
Maybe, maybe not. She doesn't really like crowds.
2 people isn't a crowd.
Right, but if she was in the photo, then it'd be 3.
Check.
It's Fifi and Freya.
Don't you think Poppy should be in the photo too?
Maybe, maybe not. She doesn't really like crowds.
2 people isn't a crowd.
Right, but if she was in the photo, then it'd be 3.
Checkmate.
Looks like someone doesn't want you to read that book.
That's the main thing making me want to read it.
Did Freya draw these?
Yeah. There's a note on the back too.
She was even closer to Flora than I realized. I've seen beetles with brightly colored shells, metallic shells even. They're relatively common, especially around here. There's a difference between that and actual gold.
It can't be actual gold. Gold is just inside the earth or whatever. You can't make it. That's called alchemy. It was a whole thing.
Penelope's 3 favorite birds. She's very protective over them.
Are they like her pets? Do they have names?
Oh, they have names. Penelope loves to name things.
Do you remember what she named them?
I do not. A flower.
Yeah, it's a flower. We found it in Penny's room.
Okay.
Mean anything to you?
Why would it?
Come on.
I don't really go into Penny's room or anywhere in Pointer Tower. I just don't have a reason to. Those petals, they,
What?
They're red. What's with the broken glass? Poppy's piano music. I remember when she started learning. She's improved a lot since then.
Yeah, that's generally how it works.
Right. Of course.
We found these up in the rooftop garden. Do you know how long they've been there?
No, it could have been a long time. We don't ever really clear up the rooftop garden.
Why not?
Nature is unruly. In truth, it prefers to be left alone. Wait, those are mine, the earmuffs.
Oh.
They went missing about a week ago.
What do you need earmuffs for?
I use them for gardening sometimes.
Why? You don't own a chainsaw, do you?
No. I wear them while I'm gardening, and it stops people from trying to talk to me.
That's genius.
Okay.
There's something about Hawkshaw's handheld microscope. Something.
Let's ask her about it.
先找这个女的。
So, yeah, we found this.
Oh, that's nothing.
You wrote, "Now I'll get her," on a piece of paper and hid it in your room. That's not nothing.
Actually, it's not the message I wanted to ask about. It's those red flower petals.
The petals.
They're from red roses. And there's only one place in Tangle Tower with red roses.
We need a clue. Something that shows the roses. And who they belong to.
That almost, but it's not right.
哎，不对啊。哦，要不这个吧？
That's not right.
It's a drawing of Fitz and Poppy in the rooftop garden. See what Fitz is holding?
I can't imagine what you're getting at, but it doesn't matter. I couldn't have taken anything from the rooftop garden. It's only accessible from Fitz's room or Poppy's room. How could I have taken something from a garden to which I have no access?
Is it really only accessible from those 2 bedrooms?
For most people, it would be. But don't forget, Penny's the resident ornithologist.
My dears, what are you accusing me of?
One of Penny's birds was used to spy on Poppy and Fitz and distract them. Almost. Maybe just change one. One of Penny's birds was used to spy on Poppy and Fitz, but it didn't work. Almost. Maybe just change. One of Penny's birds was almost. Maybe.
怎么，并且为什么决定要去花园？偷钱。
One of Penny's birds almost. Maybe just. One of Penny's birds. Nope.
这个吧，
Almost.
怎么可能？还是说不是他、啊？不是哎、这个、
One of Penny's birds was used to spy
偷
on
证据干嘛？
Poppy and Fitz and steal evidence from them. We know those two have been spending time together in the rooftop garden. I'm guessing you got paranoid. Wanted to
原
know
来他
what
未
they were
婚
up
妻
to.
啊！
I'm just not the jealous type. I would never suspect Fitz of anything like that. Besides, Tabitha hardly ever leaves her cage. She's certainly never flown up to the rooftop garden.
We need a clue to compare with Penny's birds. Something to prove one of them has been in the rooftop garden. Let's take a closer look at these. This yellow feather was left behind by Penny's yellow bird when it visited the rooftop garden.
I can't stand it!
哎呦，
Knowing the two of them are hidden away up there in their private little garden. I couldn't risk spying on them myself, so I asked dear Tabitha to do it for me. I knew she'd be able to bring me back some evidence.
Sorry, Penny, but are you not overreacting a little?
You don't understand. Fitz is slipping away from me. He's so quiet with me these days. But being with Poppy seems to bring him out of his shell. I don't know what he sees in her miserable little... I apologize. This really isn't your burden to bear.
好，我们来问他。
I feel like I'm standing in a giant bird.
A fellow bird enthusiast. She's quite the expert, truth be told. Studied them professionally at one point. I think her father taught her.
Are you friends with Flora?
A little bit.
A little bit friends.
She's one for the peace and quiet. I dare say I'm a little too loud for her.
I can see that.
I do admire her, though, really. Always felt like she could have done better than settle for Felix.
Ouch.
I said it. I must say, I really don't care for the den of self-delusion that he's retreated into. People are better off when they just let themselves be themselves. Between you and me, I think Felix is secretly rather miserable. She mostly ignores me, if I'm honest.
How come?
Well, we're not quite on the same intellectual level.
Oh. I mean, well, you don't need to.
No, it's quite all right. I'm comfortable with it. She's a most unsavory little. She was incredibly rude about my appearance.
Which part? The giant bird arms, or?
If I were her, I'd go easy on the judgment of others. I mean, look at her. She looks like the ghost of a scarecrow. I just wish Uncle Pointer would tell her to behave herself.
Professor Pointer? Why him?
Oh, it was Uncle that called her in. She's his responsibility. Did you not know that?
Oh.
She'd sit in the aviary, first thing in the morning, and paint the birds. Sometimes she'd ask me their names.
Freya was interested in studying bird species too?
No, just wanted to know their names. Isabelle, Clementine, Myrtle, Lysandre, Genevieve.
Got it, thanks.
For my 21st birthday, she gave me a framed painting. All the birds from a single spring, with their names written underneath. I can't begin to tell you how much I've treasured it.
Sounds like you two were close.
I feel like I always struggled to articulate my admiration for her, but she had a way of understanding unspoken things. Isn't he strapping?
He is big.
And so brooding.
Kinda salty, yeah.
I can never tell what's going on in that beautiful head of his.
It just sounds like you don't know him very well.
I don't remember asking for your input. Can't say I've ever taken an interest in Uncle's astronomy. On occasion I've dared to visit him in his tower, but I always regret it. It's all just a little too abstract for me.
What do you mean?
Oh, did you know the sun is apparently over 400,000 miles wide? Okay, so what should I do with that information? How does it help me?
我可以理解他的想法。
Don't look at me. You're the one who memorized it.
就是哦，我跟你说太阳有多宽哦。哦，我知道了，所以嘞，这样子。
Oh, she's beautiful. Who is she? Wait, is that me?
靠腰。
Oh, did you talk to Poppy already?
Yeah, a little bit.
And did you make any notes of what she told you?
Yeah, I did.
Lovely. Burn them. It'll all be lies.
哎呦，
Why would Poppy lie to us?
他跟他有
Because
仇
that's
哦。
what she does. She's a snake. Looks like one too.
Don't you think you're being a little unfair, Penny?
She started it.
所以 snake 跟 fox 一样，就是有代表阴险这样的感觉。
You know, it's probably quite impressive. To a visitor, fresh eyes and all that.
Not to you?
Try living in it for 20 years. The sheen wears off. If it wasn't for my fits, I'd have little reason to stay.
What about inheritance? You're the next oldest pointer after your uncle, aren't you?
Well, thank you very much for phrasing it.
最老的。
But no, any money left in the Pointer family will pass down directly to Poppy.
Is that fair?
Couldn't care less, to be perfectly honest. Finally, I get to see a detective's case file.
That's a very specific thing to be excited about.
Only last week I asked that miserable Hawkshaw woman if I could see her case notes.
I'm guessing she said no.
Would have been much more polite if she had just said no. Instead, she was quite rude to me. Accused me of being, what was it? A shallow sensationalist. Goodness me, Poppy really doesn't take care of her belongings, does she?
It wasn't in Poppy's room. It was in the little pond in the garden.
Exactly! Hardly the place for it. I'm sure I've read about this creature somewhere. Don't remember anything about him playing the harp, though. Hello. Who penned this juicy little number?
We don't know. It's not signed.
An anonymous letter? Classic clue. I doubt Freya intended it, but the overall effect is a little unsettling.
Don't you think?
It's Flora that's the problem. She's an inescapably haunting
他怎么谁都讨厌啊？他除了他的未婚夫以外，他谁都讨厌。
Gaudy old thing, isn't it? Flora seems very fond of it. I've never understood why. But then I could say the same thing about her husband.
Heyo!
Poppy's gramophone. She's had it for a long time. As a young child, she'd call it her mama phone, on account of it belonging to her mother.
That's cute.
Oh yes, adorable. How terrible.
You recognize it?
The color scheme. 3 different pinks. Obscene.
他讨厌粉红色哦。
Oh, that's rather sad. Freya doesn't take very good care of her paints, does she? But then she was always rather bohemian, had her own priorities. A bit vain to carve wooden figurines of oneself, isn't it? If I'm not mistaken, that little red and white one is supposed to be a bird of some kind. I know a lot of people rather like this painting, but it's a little
这到底是什
much
么
for
啊
me. I
就
find
红色
it
水晶。
bearing. And for some reason, it makes me feel bad for Freya. I think she was more troubled than we knew. Freya was very talented, even at that age.
Do you know how old this photo is?
Not sure. Must be a couple of years at least. Sometime before Fiona settled on her current style. Ooh, a secret diary.
That's our guess too.
Excellent. Haven't seen this one in a while. He lives in the music room, doesn't he?
Currently.
Looks a little simple for Poppy, doesn't it? Thought she was a grade 12 or something.
I didn't know there were that many grades.
I'm sure they invented some new ones just for her. There used to be all kinds of birds here at Tangle Tower. The most fascinating breeds, all totally unique.
Used to be? There are birds all over the place.
Most of them are rather ordinary, I'm afraid.
What happened to the non-ordinary ones?
That is a very good question. Oh, did Fitz show you that?
Not exactly.
We found it hidden under his bed.
Ah, right. Lovely.
OK， 没什么新线索，我就去问他。
A listless soul drifting through the ether.
What's wrong with her?
Not sure. She's always been troubled. Comes from a dysfunctional family. I'd say you could ask her about it, but I think you might find that to be a bit of a dead end. He should learn to make the most of his lot in life. And he does have a lot in life.
You're talking about money?
Among other things, but yes, he currently has agency over a small fortune. That is, if he hasn't already squandered it or lost it.
You two don't get on?
Oh no, we're the best of friends.
是吗？
Ah yes, the heiress of Tangle Tower. Goodness knows what'll happen when she takes charge. I dare say she'll confiscate my telescope and replace it with a microscope.
She doesn't seem to be the type to impress her will on others.
Still, keep an eye on her. Dangerously intelligent, that one.
You sound jealous. Wait, are you two science rivals?
Oh no, we operate on very different wavelengths. Literally. Nobody could deny her talent. She was remarkable, artistically gifted, but also
大家都说
highly
他很聪
intelligent.
明，
Those two
但是不
things
知道
aren't
聪
mutually
明
exclusive, you know.
在哪里
Was， she ever interested in astronomy?
不知道是在
I
哪里。
don't think she was. The
是
fault
昆虫
may well lie with me for failing to inspire her. But I think she was captivated by more tangible things here on Earth.
应该就是
My
虫啊，
daughter loved her.
应该是虫。
Fiona too. That said, in the last year or so, more and more I begun to notice her by herself, wandering the gardens at the most peculiar hours. She must have explored every inch of the grounds 100 times over. Quite a restless spirit, I think. I'm surprised she chose to live at Tangle Tower as long as she did. What do you want me to say? He's the gardener.
He's a member of the family.
Yeah, but not the Pointer family.
What happened to his parents, do you know?
His father, Flint, is Felix's brother. Strange man. Don't think anybody knows what happened to him, but he certainly doesn't live here anymore.
What about his mother?
Emily? I've not met her. She never actually married into the Fellow family. Her relationship with Flint was, it was short-lived.
哦，
I don't especially want to talk about myself. Introspection often leads to vanity.
Wait, does it?
Why don't we discuss the moons of Jupiter instead?
I'm not sure if we have time. Aren't there like 10 of them?
83.
Yeah, we don't have time.
哈哈，
Ah, Penelope, our resident ornithologist.
Penny's your niece, is that right?
At this moment in time, until she marries the gardener.
She'll still be your niece.
But she'll depart from the world of the Pointers and join the Fellows. Like rats deserting a sinking ship. My Poppy, my pride and joy. Exceptionally talented pianist from a young age. She... Hold on. Why is she on your list of suspects?
哎呦，
Because she's a suspect.
Oh no, I can personally vouch for her innocence. She'd never... Well, the truth is, she loved Freya very dearly.
If you don't mind me asking, what happened to Poppy's mother?
Primrose? She was Flora's sister, a Remington by birth. The playing field has never really been even since she left.
Where did she go?
Away. She went away.
我问的好少。
So which one is Tangle Tower?
What's that?
There are two towers, right? Flora's tower and your astronomy tower.
Neither? Truly, I have no idea. You'd have to ask Flora.
She named the house?
The whole thing is a result of her squabbling with her family.
With Felix, you mean? Her husband?
No, her brother and sister, and her father. The Remington family was a rather tumultuous little unit, you see. I don't think Flora has spoken with any of them in over a decade. Not exactly a wealth of information, is it?
It's enough.
Isn't the process of decay fascinating?
It's not really decaying. It's plastic.
It's becoming one with nature, all the same. A very old statue indeed.
到现在还
I'd
不知道这个要怎么
recommend you
解。
leave it well alone. The poor fellow's in bad enough shape as it is.
哎呦，
Where on earth did you find that?
It was in a bush outside. I think someone threw it away.
How peculiar.
怎么了？他好像看过。
Curious little thing, isn't it? Do you know what she keeps in there?
Nothing. At the moment. It was empty when we opened it.
How bizarre.
Can't a woman keep an empty egg in her room?
他怎么好像知道很多东西啊？
Pointer property originally, purloined by the Fellows. Typical. I haven't seen that tape for a long time. Who broke it?
No idea.
Ah, well, possessions are fleeting, my friends. Here's a thought. Do you suppose the paintbrush could be the murder weapon? After all, it was found at the scene, right next to Freya's body.
I guess it's possible.
Is this important?
Possibly.
This is supposed to be Felix,
哎
is
呦，
it?
还有反应呢。
I think so.
I see he's afforded himself considerable artistic license.
他怎么那么反应？
This looks a little rushed, even by Felix's standards.
At least he tried.
Yes, I suppose it's good for the old fellow to have a hobby. Keeps his mind from decaying, you know. Freya was well acquainted with the abstract, I'll say that much.
What does it look like to you?
To me, it's a big, red thing.
What a fascinating interpretation.
He's right, though. It is a big red thing.
These were drawn by Freya? She must have drawn that one of Hawkshaw rather recently.
I guess.
Poppy's two closest friends. Freya looks so innocent there. That's a very old book, isn't it? Looks like someone could have taken better care of it.
I like the look of a well-read book. Better than one that's never been opened.
Ah, well put. A diary can be a wonderful outlet for an outpouring of one's soul.
How do you know it's a diary?
I suppose I don't, but it does look like a diary. Yes, very nice.
感觉他真的看过很
Where
多东
is
西
that
了。
bird of Flora's? It's been a while since I've seen it. Fitz seems rather keen to grow things like this in his greenhouse, doesn't he?
What's wrong with that?
Well, you can't eat it. Makes you wonder why he bothers at all. Oh, you found a murder weapon?
Steady on. It's just a gardening trowel.
Looks like a weapon to me. That's rather a small cage for 3 birds, isn't it? But then, aren't we all trapped in a cage? What kind of flower is that?
We're not sure. I think it might be the only one of its kind.
Primrose would know. My wife was a floriculturalist. Best in the field. That's a flower joke, but she was.
Interesting.
Well now, that is most definitely none of my business. Quite possibly none of yours either. Curious creature, isn't it? Some sort of amphibious bipedal fishman.
Playing a trumpet.
Playing a trumpet, yes. Oh my. This is the first piece that Primrose ever learnt on the piano. Primrose, that is Poppy's mother. She passed it down to Poppy when she started teaching her how to play.
Poppy's piano teacher was her mother?
Of course. Warms my heart to know that after everything, Poppy still has it up on her wall. I think you may wish to adjust your threshold of what you consider to be a clue. I've seen those earmuffs before. They're the ones Fitz always wears when he's out the front gardening.
Always wears?
Whenever I've seen him, yes.
代表费姐不想跟他讲话。OK， 然后我们去。
This little microscope thing? You said you used it to search the greenhouse.
And this would make perfect sense, if you knew what my client had asked me to find. Of course, I still have no intention of disclosing that information.
You're such a tease, Hawkshaw. Don't worry, we already worked out what you're searching for.
这个吧。
You're not as hopeless as you look.
Thanks.
So, that's what you were looking for in the greenhouse? This beetle?
Surely even you can understand the
该不会是
logic
这个
of
Pointer
it.
家
The
来找这个
greenhouse is
虫？
home to a great many insects. The gardener could have easily kept the beetle hidden in there.
Well, Fitz said you questioned him, but didn't actually search the greenhouse.
He's not exactly the type to appreciate subtlety. He simply didn't notice that I was using my microscope.
What do you reckon, Grimoire?
I know for a fact she didn't use the microscope in the greenhouse. It's not a microscope at all.
All of a sudden, Detective Grimoire is some kind of expert on microscopes.
应该是望远镜吧。
The handheld microscope was created by Fifi to use a telescopic lens, so Hawkshaw lied about it. Almost. Maybe just change one. A telescopic lens was created by Fifi to use the handheld microscope, so Hawkshaw lied about it. Nope.
哦，这个啊。
The handheld microscope is made in almost. The handheld microscope almost.
这个啦。
The handheld microscope, according to Fifi, uses a telescopic lens, so Hawkshaw lied about it. I'm inclined to believe Fifi when it comes to stuff like this.
Hawkshaw, why did you lie about owning a telescope?
When you were a child, what did you aspire to become?
转移话题哦。
A detective, naturally.
Emperor of the Galaxy.
I wanted to be an astronomer.
Really?
I harbored a desire to understand the secrets of the wider universe. A fool's errand, to be sure, but a seductive one. At 15, I decided instead to apply my intelligence to the world around me. And so, I became a detective. But the yearning for elusive knowledge is a powerful force. I tried to keep it with me.
Sorry, but we're way off track. What's the deal with the little
对啊，
telescope?
离题了。
A memento of my childhood. Little more than a toy.
Why did you bring it with you?
When I discovered that it was Professor Pointer who had hired me, I dared to consider it something of a planetary alignment. I had hoped he might sign my telescope. An extremely childish indulgence, I admit.
I never would have guessed.
Hold on. You're admitting you didn't use it in the greenhouse then?
Correct. As it happens, I have no need to search the greenhouse to such a degree. Professor Pointer doesn't consider the gardener a suspect in our theft investigation.
So, who is
所以
your
他在调来偷窃哦。
Things have become complicated. My lead suspect is your murder victim.
看这个哦。
That's all the statements collected. Let's run through them all to see if anything doesn't add up.
To see if anyone's been lying.
That too.
Fitz and I were up in the Moonlight Garden most of the afternoon. Then we heard this sound. Lasted about 3 seconds.
We thought it was coming from Flora's tower, so we went up there.
Her door was locked. Nobody was answering. So I made Fitz kick down the door.
Poppy and I went in. Freya was right there, laying on her back.
I left my tower and headed down towards the Grand Hall.
But in the hall, I spotted Uncle Pointer heading down the stairs. I vacated the library.
我还没有问
Before
完
I could
呢，
begin my
我发现
ascent,
这件事情。
Professor Pointer appeared.
I didn't know what to do. So I ran downstairs to get Fifi.
I heard someone heading down the stairs, just outside my room.
Someone began banging on the door. I ignored it until the someone began shouting at me.
Eventually, she let me in.
I spotted Detective Hawkshaw coming out of the library.
He emerged from the Pointer staircase, crossed the hall, and begun up the fellow staircase. As I was passing through the front door, Penelope called out from behind me. I inquired about the professor, and she told me he'd gone up the fellow tower.
I told her what had happened. She didn't believe me. She got angry.
I thought she was playing a trick on me, so I punched her in the face.
I recognized Fiona's voice as well as the voice of my own daughter.
We left the room, and Poppy's father was waiting outside. He followed us upstairs.
I ran up the stairs, hoping to catch up with him, but Felix appeared and blocked my path.
Back in the hallway, I bumped into a very concerned-looking Penelope. She was heading up Fellow Tower to find Professor.
最有问题就是这个 Felix 吧，跑去人家房间干嘛？
Room for a while. When she came back, she had her father with her, and Fifi too.
Felix and Penny arrived shortly after we did.
A moment later, we were gazing down on the body of poor Freya.
Then I took a sample of the red paint on the unfinished painting.
She took me down to the library. We were in there about 15 minutes.
I quickly decided that I should leave also. I took Penelope with me, and we both went back to our rooms in Pointer Tower.
I wanted to go back to my room, but I realized nobody had told Detective Hawkshaw anything.
An unremarkable hour passed before the gardener finally made his appearance.
I think she was annoyed about being made to wait outside so long. But when I told her about Freya, she fell silent.
That's disappointing.
What is?
All the statements line up with each other.
They don't just line up. Some of them even seem to specifically confirm each other. It's a bird bath. Is that just rainwater?
The birds seem...
They're even singing.
Please don't do that. Do you think he'll start to move?
No, I think he'll just... I'm still not sure.
Should we take another look?
看一下。
Let's come
所以
back.
还没解开哦。还有一个，他还没有被嫌疑问过。看看喽。
It's a rose bush.
The roses aren't exactly. Giant stone frog?
Yeah, he's got
Except those aren't snowflakes. They're feathers.
It's the door into
One of only two.
Yeah. A little pond.
It looks, see those metal bars around it?
Yeah.
Nothing. And he looks like somebody broke them and then never...
试试看从中间。他说可以进去这里。
It's a big.
There are weeds in there.
It's an aquarium?
Could be. Except there's nothing living in it anymore.
A single red rose. How very...
Yeah, weird.
"进去中间的路，塑形相比简单。
Anything in
Dresses. I didn't realize there was so many. It's a metronome.
哎呦，我没有看过这个。哦。
It's ticking. Is it a bomb?
It's supposed to be ticking. Not sure what those symbols are, though.
怎么扭？
Nothing.
We can't rotate the pendulum.
There we go.
Perfect. What happened?
Little hatch unlocked in the back.
Oh.
Anything in there?
Mm-hmm. It's a photograph. Heart of a photograph.
撕下来的吧？这谁？
There's something about that pink cassette tape. Something suspicious.
Let's ask Poppy about it.
好吧，问吧。
I don't know what that is.
Weird, considering we found it hidden in your room.
Well, my room is full of junk. There's probably a bunch of stuff hidden in there. I don't mean like... Please stop talking to me.
I need to confirm something with you, Poppy.
Confirm away.
What can you tell us about this cassette tape? Is it yours?
It belongs to Freya. She liked to have music playing. while she was painting, you know.
And do you know what kind of music is on this tape?
No idea. Acid jazz?
It's piano music. Sounds an awful lot like your music, to be honest.
Sure it doesn't belong to you?
Why are we even talking about this? Cassette tapes have been redundant for a good few years now.
The tape was found at the crime scene. It was in the gramophone.
It's not mine. I'd never own anything like that.
应该是以前的他吧。
Not my color.
你过去很喜欢这种颜色啊。
You used to like these colors.
Ridiculous.
We need a clue to compare with the
就是
cassette
那
tape.
张撕掉的照
Something
片
that。proves Poppy used to like these colors.
她以前是粉色系的女孩。
Let's take a closer look at this. The pink cassette tape found in the garden matches the pink cassette player that was found in Poppy's room. Now, the pink cassette tape almost, maybe, the pink almost. The pink cassette tape found at the crime scene matches the pink cassette player used by Poppy in this.
他这个文法有点怪怪的，所以有时候会觉得好像不应该选。
That is not me.
Yeah, it is. I'll prove it.
哎呦，
You look a little different, but Fifi and Freya are pretty recognizable. It's clearly a photo of you with your two best friends. Why'd you tear it up and then hide it?
I think the answer is pretty straightforward. Poppy hates Fifi and Freya now.
You sure about that?
Not entirely. I think the answer is pretty straightforward. Poppy doesn't want to look like that anymore.
That's it. Makes this whole thing seem kind of irrelevant.
Maybe. It depends on the reason.
Reason she doesn't want to look like that anymore?
The passage of time is a powerful thing.
Hold on. This means that pink cassette tape does belong to you, Poppy.
It used to. I recorded some piano music on it and gave it to Freya as a gift. Years ago.
Freya could have easily been listening to this tape at the exact moment she was killed. There's gotta be a connection between the tape, the gramophone, and the murder.
There's one other thing I want to know. How did it get that crack down the middle?
I have no idea.
"把这张照片拿去问一问。
Who is that in the photo?
I'm quite sure that I have no idea.
Who's that?
Not sure. It doesn't really look like anyone we've met so far.
Strange.
好，他也不知道，那我就问园丁，他一定知道。
Any idea who this is?
No idea.
decide what's worse. How she looks here, or how she looks now.
Do you know who this is? In the photo?
Oh, absolutely no idea.
他不讲哎，他一定知道啊，他都已经知道他现在跟过去了，那还是不讲。代表他变这样是有原因的。
What a precious photograph. She hasn't changed a bit, has she?
Who?
Oh, if you don't know, perhaps I don't either.
所以他还有没有讲到？干，都不讲哎。然后他说这个可能也还没收完。
Oh dear.
Do you know who this is?
Not a clue.
好，所以他们就决定说，如果你不知道，那他们也不会知道。好，去收。他说这里 Flora 的房间还没收完。
A little pot plant.
It's the only plant in the entire room.
That's the only door in and out.
It's also...
Sure is. Guess. Freya's painting supplies. Freya's painting supplies. Supposedly, Freya's...
Didn't even get a chance to clean her brush.
We're at the top.
I think so.
Doesn't matter. It's half the room.
I don't know if you can smell the sudden absence of wall. A bunch of old books covered in dust now, but they look... A bunch of old books covered in dust now, but they look...
The whole room is a strange...
Yeah, there might be a reason for that.
The whole room is...
Yeah, there might be a reason.
他说，我忘记是跟谁讲了，他吗？然后我给他看了这个吗？
Paints are different to flowers.
I'd say so, yeah.
At any time, flowers can bloom with paint. Once you've tainted a color by mixing it with others, not even the most skilled. There's something off about this.
What is it?
Why don't you take another look at Flora's room?
You think we missed a clue up there?
Not exactly.
他说，为什么不仔细看看 Flora 的房间？啊？
There it is. The
So
looks that way.
画了这边，这边也要画一个，所以照理来讲，这边应该要有一个。
Half the room is...
I don't know if you can smell the sudden absence of wall.
Half the room...
I don't know if the sudden absence of wall.
对啊，他这边准备要画一个这个，可是
A bunch of old books covered in dust now, but...
所以少了一个这个嘛，有可能掉下去了嘛。那掉下去的话会在这里。应该会有个什么破掉的瓶子之类的。
It's so relaxed. I might just stay.
Oh, shut up.
That'd be great.
有没有打破的盆栽之类的？还是一楼？
That poor plant.
Looks pretty
healthy. I think it would rather be outside.
这里太少东西了吧？
Quite solid. Not every room is going to be full of them.
And empty.
Looking
Why?
I don't know.
That's something.
There's something that just feels out of place.
我想解这个吧。这有解了，这个有解了，这有解，这有解，这有解了。它这个哦，这是那个蛋嘛，这是那个桌子嘛。
Oh.
What?
Oh, sure.
It's a stone coin.
I think it's an egg. Spooky. What do you think it's for?
I think it's...
Is it working?
No.
糟糕了，天文塔。哎呦，它有提示，我觉得真的太好了。我看看。
It's tidier than the notebook.
So, even the most well-used notebook. There's something kind. I just expect. Pretty.
Yeah, it's too.
It's also daytime.
A picture frame.
With no picture.
It's full of tea.
Criminal. There's something kind of. I just expect.
Oh, does it not compare to all the other trinkets?
They're clearly gizmo.
Yeah, it's too.
It's also daytime. Pretty.
还有什么吗？
Every astronomy tower.
I want to try.
哦。
It's the tower opposite this one.
可以看到什么？
You can see right.
Not by accident.
I can see Flora, but she's not looking this way. Behind her is the back side of the easel holding Freya's unfinished painting. I can't really see anything behind it. Not from this angle.
It's that little plant Flora keeps on the window ledge.
Don't you think it would fall off? In the wind.
Maybe it's glued down.
诶，等一下哦，会画在右边跟画在左边的差别。
I can just about see the brown.
我这还看到什么？
Is that a window?
I think it is.
Is there another room above Flora's room?
We should check that next time we're over there.
隐藏房间哦，就是这样吧。
Isn't this supposed to be an astronomy telescope? I'm pretty sure you need to see the sky.
Can't move it. I think this is just how it's set up.
There's something about pointers something.
Let's ask him about it.
对，你他妈一直看对面的人妻干什么？妈妈。
So, Professor, what interests you about astronomy exactly?
It's not a matter of being interested. Once you expand your mind to the wider universe, it cannot be unexpanded.
Mm-hmm. And how long have you been an astronomer?
I really don't like to give exact values unless I'm sure I can quantify them.
Convenient.
Why do you ask me these things?
I have a theory about you, Professor.
Theory.
Oh, go on.
You're not really interested in astronomy at all.
What could you possibly mean by that?
I think you're interested in a slightly different field of research.
I don't have time for tiny, insignificant insects. My studies focus only on the inconceivably large and the unimaginably far away.
Right. That's why you like using your telescope so much.
Yes, naturally. My little portal.
对，他还为了这个东西请了一个人来帮他找。
About that. pointer's telescope was actually looking at the crime scene and not up at the sky.
First, you accuse me of being a lowly entomologist. Now you're accusing me of, what, spying?
Are you spying?
Why would I need to spy on Flora?
Why? Because you lost your golden beetle specimen, and it's made you paranoid. You think somebody stole it from you.
Might not have been Flora you were spying on. Might have been Freya.
It's a very precious specimen. Incredibly rare. Valuable in ways you could never understand. Freya was always sneaking around. Both towers and in the gardens too. She was definitely up to something.
So, this next question is important. You were looking to Flora's room around the time of the murder. Did you witness the crime, Professor?
No, I didn't. When I looked into the room, Flora was already lying on the floor.
Flora? You mean Freya?
No, Flora. She was lying by the window. I couldn't see Freya at all. It was fairly dark. The telescope isn't at a very good angle. That's why I decided to head over there myself. I needed to know what was going on.
挺暗
This
的。
changes your statement, doesn't it?
你这个不是天文望远镜
Everything I
吗？
told you in my statement was true.
Apart from the reason you left your tower in the first place.
Right.
对，他一开始说的陈述有问题哦。
Let's go over what we know about the crime scene. Freya was definitely up to something.
Something to do with the statue in the garden, I think.
Maybe we should go back and check. And we could have missed something.
This 这里我先去这个阁楼，刚刚发现阁楼。
Just dusty junk. What is that?
Not sure.
Looks like it might attach to something.
哦，轮轴哦。
What's in that little? I bet it's bones. A skull, at least.
You know, maybe I won't open it.
Where's that light coming?
It's just daylight. I think. There's a decent gap between those floorboards.
Oh.
Is that what I think it is?
狙击点。所以是这边掉一个东西，
Kind of.
然后去把它撞坏的。这算小。
This wasn't here before.
What is it?
It's a little wooden toy. Looks kind of like a crab.
There's a note stuck to
What
the
does
back.
it say? Grimoire?
这是我的新朋友，他喜欢音乐，简单的曲调能打动他的灵魂。
What do you think? Is it?
How can it be?
Why don't we check the handwriting with Freya's diary?
Good idea. Hold on.
Well,
It's a perfect match.
oh, it's confirmed. We have a ghost helping us.
Let's keep this.
What about the little wooden toy thingy?
Maybe we can put it to some kind of use.
怎么了吗？我本来就还没结束啊。
Yeah, it's mine.
Can you play the tune for us?
Sure. It's literally 8 notes. I have it memorized.
钢琴哦，然后
I'm still not sure.
Should we take another look?
钢琴嘴唇，钟鸟，干，我不小心把 Chrome 按掉。嘴唇是三小。鸟吧。
Is that
maybe?
We have no idea.
They're bird cages, but the birds are coming.
Is that a metaphor?
Oh, it totally is.
And especially.
And it's home to 3 especially fancy birds.
鸟叫不是这里吗？
I must say the girls are awfully well behaved today. I think they know we're in the presence of company.
They belong to you. Why do you keep them in a cage?
They need a special diet, particular treatment. I let them out to fly occasionally, of course. But they're all one of a kind. I couldn't let anything happen to them.
Do they have names?
Of course. Let me introduce...
I've already forgotten all 3 of them.
Which one is which?
Oh, that's simple. Tatiana is the oldest.
应该不是这个。去放磁带啊。
Do you know what this is?
Guess not.
What is it?
We don't know. We were really hoping you would.
My friends, shed your hope and let it fall free like sandbags from a hot air balloon.
That's the most depressing idiom I've ever heard.
哎呦，我们来问问看，妹妹。
Is this yours, Fifi?
I do not recognize it. And besides, I would have no use for such a thing. Perhaps it could be used to hang wet laundry?
Was that a joke?
Yes.
What is that?
I'm not sure. It looks like it attaches to something else.
Why don't you go back and double-check the area you found it? Maybe you'll find the rest of the something else.
I'm not so sure about that.
I don't know what that is.
Me neither.
Me 3. Oh, sorry. I thought you said me too.
先问一轮啊。他有问过吗？
Where did you find this?
It was in the attic.
他知道哎。
Huh. forgot we even had an attic.
他知道哎呦，合伙的哦，妈的你！
What's this? Is it a clue?
We don't actually know, but Grimoire picked it up, so now he has to pretend it is.
That's how it works.
哎呦 ，P 家族要想办法把 F 家族干掉。好，我们来整理一下。哦，对，他在唱歌。再来是嘴巴跟钟。
What? Wind chimes, silent. Wooden wind chimes.
我们先找钟好了。钟。Hello。嘴唇，唱歌是不是？ 好像不是唱歌，我们要唱吗？没有。
We know a little more about the crime scene now. So, what do you think? Was Freya stabbed by her own painting?
应该不是啊，就是有人在上面狙击啊。
The painted ink-dip feather was used to hide a real knife, so it could stab Freya. Nope. Blood from the paint pot was used to hide paint from the paint pot to hide the evidence. That's not right.
那不是这个吧？
A model of Felix was used to hide a real knife to hide the evidence. That's not right either.
他自己把血画上去的，他被用。
The painted ink-dip feather was used to hide blood from the paint pot to resemble a bloody knife. That's not right either. Blood from the paint pot was used to paint over the painted ink-dip feather to resemble a bloody knife. Almost. Maybe just change one thing. Blood from the paint pot was used to paint the red tip of the painted ink-dip
死前他知道他是被刀打弄的，所以他是故那是提示，涂在上面是提示。
I have a question. Why?
Either it's a very strange coincidence, or somebody set it up.
Somebody deliberately put blood in the paint pot and hid that feather after the crime. Why? To distract us?
Possibly.
Well, it worked.
Possibly.
Flora's the only person who could have hidden the feather, unless someone took it from her.
Let's go over what we do know. The door was locked the whole time. It stayed locked until Fitz kicked it down. Normally, it can only be opened from the inside. Pointer said he couldn't see Freya from his telescope, but he did see Flora lying by the window.
So whatever got Freya got Flora too?
Except Flora survived. She didn't get a stab wound like Freya did.
Hold on. If there was no knife, then what did stab Freya?
It could be anything. It might not even be important.
How is it not important?
Right now, I'm less interested in the what, and more interested in the how.
How?
The angle of Freya's wound suggests she was stabbed at a perfect right angle. That is, from directly in front of her. But she was standing right up by the canvas.
Somehow, Freya ended up lying on her back, still perfectly in line with a painting.
Maybe something went through it.
Through the painting? Wouldn't that leave a hole?
Okay, well, how about this? How do we know Freya was stabbed before she fell over? Maybe her being stabbed and her falling over are completely unrelated.
有可能哦。没有关系耶。
A little pond.
It looks, see those metal, nothing. Looks like somebody broke them and then...
Okay.
That's all formality.
So, what?
Should we go back to the gardens?
Go.
Let's try this again.
You know, I think we might be able to solve. That's gotta...
Nothing. Maybe it's broken.
Wait, do you hear that?
Wow.
Where do you think it goes?
Down.
Go. 啊，现在不知道怎么办，只好进去看看。底部。哦，可爱。
Bugs.
Looks like they're made of metal.
这黄黄的没看到。
Bugs.
Looks like they're made of metal. It looks like the liquid is ice. What's in there?
哦，缺少这个。
It's a little diagram.
That's weird.
What?
It looks really compared to the beetles behind the glass.
9 beetles.
Or little.
There's a bunch of mostly numbers. 9 beetles. There's it's mostly numbers.
Is it locked?
Seems likely, doesn't it? Weird looking safe.
I'm pretty sure the latches can slide into the middle.
Ooh. OK， 解谜喽！这个一定是这里先拿。OK， 这个先，再来是这里。 对啊。诶，靠北，所以这个也要用。这样。这里没有。这样。这样。这个可以拉了。这样。这样。这样，哇，天才
That's the one.
Hey, not bad. Anything inside?
Yeah, more research.
哦，所以有4种，一个是动物群，是这个在存在于水中会形成，就是形成这周遭的湖会造就变异。然后第3个是这些东西，哦，所以也有这个动物。
Whose research is this?
A cracked glass tank. Each one has
I like that you called them rooms.
And drawn entomology chart.
Bugs.
Looks like they're made of
bugs.
Looks like they're made.
为什么这边有黄黄的不能选
？Bugs.
Looks like they're made of
bugs.
Looks like they're made of metal.
Forensic and.
That's an incredible.
Forensic and.
That's an incredibly specific. Rows of plants.
What color is
it?
It
looks black, but it's too.
It's a hatch.
But we're all ready.
Depends on your perspective.
Let's not. We still haven't explored this room properly.
This is some seriously in-depth research.
It's impressive, but it's incomplete. There's a section
缺
missing.
那个金色的那个。
So, this is Pointer's secret lab.
Definitely seems like he's the one using it.
I guess not a lot of people know about the secret entrance.
Right. But if Pointer's the only one who comes down here, why would he need to lock his research in a safe? Who is he hiding it from?
He's just paranoid.
Freya吧。
Especially about his golden beetle.
What do you think he's trying to do exactly?
Pointer has been trying to breed the golden beetle.
因为它很多种不同的昆虫都跑出来。
Because it's rare?
连这个钻石。
Is that it?
I think so. I don't think he cares about entomology any more than he cares about astronomy. He just wants to get one over on Felix. If he can breed his own gold, suddenly Poppy's inheritance is looking pretty,
Infinite. Might explain why he was so worried about losing the beetle. Maybe somebody did steal it.
Might have been Freya after all. We know she was trying to get through the secret door in the garden.
She might not have known what was down here. Maybe she was just curious.
Curious, sure, but not naive. I reckon she knew what was going on.
I think we're still missing the bigger picture. There's no way this is all just about a beetle. We're done.
Ready to go down again?
好，那我们今天就在这边结束，就在这边结束。好，下次我们就来进入地下室，然后我不知道剩多久了，但是应该就可以结束这个系列吧。我不确定，因为我今天都已经访问完，我还前面 可能有感受到，就是我还有不小心访问到有点度孤这样。好，感谢各位收看，大家拜拜。